Hey guys, illegal dad here. I've got the baby right here, strapped up, sleeping. I was editing my video and I noticed a couple times that Rhodos was actually getting one shot by Narses, and he didn't have strengthen or a shield on. And I was looking through his skill. I don't see anything. It just says damage inflicted by the skill cannot be decreased by enemy passive skills or masteries. And I'm wondering if that essentially means that Rhodos isn't gonna stop Narses from one-shotting him, which I didn't see anyone talk about before, which I think is a huge deal. So I want to just show this arena battle real quick, and we can see if it one-shots him. Okay, so Rhodos doesn't have any sort of anything on him. So in theory, he should not get one shot. He still gets one shot. So literally, I haven't seen anyone talk about this, but he's a huge counter to Rhodos too. Like, this is huge. I had no idea except for during this, and I mean, 100% chance that was not a flaw, like a fluke. I had just never heard anyone talk about it. So cool. In case you guys didn't know, now you do. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm a Legal Mist, and today we're going to be going over the Wight King and Queen, Narses and Ankora, and I'm going to let you know my true thoughts on them and whether I think they're viable for mid-game players as opposed to late end-game players. Let's get right into it. So guys, I just recently pulled my shards for the guaranteed Wight King Narses, and I am super stoked that I did because I also ended up with a Georgid, which was really nice. But that's not what you're here for. What you're here for is the showcase to see whether or not these champions are actually viable for people that don't have, you know, the top meta champions. I know I just pulled Georgid, so it's kind of a catch-22, but I haven't even used them yet. I booked him out during CVC. I got pretty lucky with the books. I think I want his A1 booked out still, but I probably won't do it for a little. And it was kind of a similar situation with the king. I had just enough books to maybe book out 2 champions, but I really wanted the queen, king, and Georgid to get enough love. So he is missing a book on his A1, and he's also missing a book on his A3. But otherwise, he's fully booked out. I have his masteries pretty much done. I'm not sure whether or not I want to go down and get the deterrence mastery so that he gets the counterattacks. I'm in the way here. Let me move. But yeah, we went down to Helm Smasher, of course. And the only other thing I was thinking, maybe Methodical for that A1 hits so that we can get the extra 10% if the fights go a little bit longer. So his build, I have him in one piece of Rathalos, which was a super nice roll. HP percentage with 40 something speed or something like that. So super nice boots there. But for his total stats right now, he's sitting at 102k HP, 2.7k defense, 253 speed, 100% crit rate, and 260-ish crit damage. And it's in the lethal set as well. This was my best lethal gear. I actually had to take the gloves off my Razzlevarg. I'm not sure whether or not it would be worth it to try and get the crit damage ascension on these, but I think the HP percentage is good enough where I won't worry about it for now. Yeah, and then we just have a couple things that we haven't rolled up. I tried to get as many ascension pieces because this is probably going to be one of my top nukers that I choose, specifically for live arena. So that is his build. Again, I built him really tanky with the HP. I didn't worry as much about the defense because when you're going into arena, you're most likely going to be going against champions like Baron or Georgid that are going to be ignoring the defense. So we want to get as much HP as possible. And then I wanted to hit that 250-ish speed. And then, of course, as much crit damage as possible with the crit rate capped. For the Wight Queen, I was looking at builds for her, and again, I wanted something kind of similar to him, where I get enough HP so that I can take a nuke, even if they ignore 100% of my defense. I don't know if she has quite enough HP or not, but she's still really tanky. That 5-star blessing helped out a lot. I was using the Hell Hades optimizer, and I went in without using the blessing on her, and I didn't really have any builds that hit. I think I was looking for 550 resistance, 270 speed and 100k HP, and I didn't really have any builds that fit it. And then once I put the blessing on, it was like, oh, here you go, like, and plus take all this other stuff. So she is actually in a 3-piece protection, which is nice, as well as a 4-piece stone skin. She was in a 3-piece stone skin and 3-piece protection originally, but I realized if I just get one extra piece of stone skin, then we'll get that extra turn with it, which will be really nice. For her books, her A1 isn't booked out, so we're still missing that 50% chance, but everything else is. So she's got the 3-turn cooldown and the 3-turn cooldown, and then her passive is actually the reason I really wanted to book her, because I just wanted to make sure that she was able to cleanse those whenever White King Narses is on the team. For her blessing, I actually went down and grabbed Life Harvest. The reason for this, I had a couple clanmates that suggested Polymorph, but one, I don't really like Polymorph, so I don't want to try and put my champions in it unless I have to. The other reason, if I did Polymorph, I would have to focus on her accuracy, which means I would have probably sat around like 80 or 90k HP, somewhere like 3.2k defense, and then the resistance, I think I would have had to bring down to like 550 or so if I wanted to get, 3 or 400 accuracy on her. So I just didn't think it was really realistic. I wanted to try and build her for what she's good for, and not just this meta that I think is a little, toxic. So yeah, that's her blessing. So, or rather, the reason I didn't choose that, but I chose Life Harvest because she's going to be destroying the max HP of the enemies, and when you have a HP nuker champion, and you're able to go in with the 2 hits from White King Narses, it's just going to make it easier for him to cycle through, kill the enemies, and then potentially, if they come up and they do get 3 buffs or whatever, he can go in with his A3 ability and try and place the block revive. So yeah, so I just thought that would be a pretty good one for her. It also cycles through turn meter, I believe. And with the 5-star, she gets a 20% turn meter fill. So it actually, I've seen it quite a bit, and it seems really solid for me. So I'm liking it so far. As far as her masteries, I have them all. I haven't chosen what I'm going to do exactly. I went down, I grabbed the extra HP, the increase the shields. I did this rapid response, so that way she can cycle through turn meter even faster. And then I'm thinking I'll probably go Lore of Steel, something like Spirit Haste to give her that extra speed. You could potentially go Lasting Gifts. I don't know that I think it's super necessary for her. And then I'll probably end up going down the defense tree, just grabbing things like Improve Parry so that she's able to take a hit a little more. And then I also think Shadow Heal would be really good on her. The one thing about her that I think it's kind of like something that you don't necessarily think about, but she doesn't have any abilities that heal, at least as far as I can remember from her skills. It's only this 10% heal when the cooldown on a skill is fully reset. So really, she's not in there to be a healer, and she doesn't have the opportunity to heal your team as much. So you want to try and go in with another support champion that's able to heal. I found with Duchess, it's again one of those things where I don't think necessarily you're going to be able to sustain the fights. I think when you do something like Live Arena with her and Duchess, you might run into the issue where your team just slowly, you start at 100% HP, slowly drop down to 75%, you can't really heal, then you're down to 50%, and then they nuke you and you lose. So I was opting to use her with someone like Cardiel because he has the A1 that heals, as well as he can jump in with the allies on a 30% chance and get the A1 heals out again. The other nice thing about a champion like Cardiel, his ally attack will go, and it can actually proc her A1 as well. So it gives you almost like, instead of a 50% chance when booked out to reduce the skill of a random ally, it can basically change it to a 75% because she's having two 50% chances, and the math adds up to 75%. Arbiter was also a pretty nice champion to have as well because of this heal. She does the increased attack, which doesn't necessarily help Narses, but she can go in and give your team a good heal. And if she dies for whatever reason, because your Arbiter might not be as tanky because she's built just for speed, she can go in with the res, and then Arbiter will immediately have basically full turn meter. She'll go in, she'll use her other ability to heal any other, revive any other champions rather, and then you'll be good. I was also thinking about bringing in a champion like Wither. Mine isn't built really right now, kind of just has random gear on, but just some sort of champion to keep your team topped up and not let the enemy team kill you. So that's the builds for the champions. Let's go into some regular arena, and then we can do a couple live arena battles. I'm not the best with live arena, but we can go in and kind of see how it goes. So we can see here I have a... walking the wrong way. I have a couple different teams that we could go up against. Really, I'm not going to win any of these. These guys have probably better gear than me, and I just don't think realistically it's going to work. But I can show you guys how they do in a team like this. So for myself, I'd probably choose a team like this and then bring in Wukong. The idea for Wukong is to go in and polymorph the Harima and then try and nuke down the other guys. So let's go in, try it out, and see how it does. I also probably should have put Wukong in the lead so that we had his extra speed, but oh well. And yeah, they're wrecking me. So no big deal. We get him up. We'll go in with the revive. I can do this. And then Wukong, unfortunately, he doesn't have all the buffs anymore, but he did have a bunch. I think we'll kill, yeah, we did kill Rhodos, which is nice. We'll get our sheep back in action. Let's do this so we get the cleanse. And then the funny thing about using Wukong, I actually don't think it's a great idea for you to go in and use his ability that places block buffs, because you pretty much always want to try and have the enemies get 3 buffs. All right, they go in. Let's hope we can get the stun. We don't. No big deal. Kind of get wrecked there. Let's do this res. We'll sheep her. And Wukong might kill us here. Oh, he got sheeped, which is pretty lucky. I think I have it on my UDK. Go in, see if we can kill her. We do. And we get the block revive, which is nice. So yeah, we actually, I think, are doing pretty good against this team, all things considered. We get the stun here, that would be really nice. We don't. I'll try this. Okay, sweet. I wasn't sure if that was going to kill her or not. And then we'll just A1, and we should be good. Unless Wukong does some crazy stuff. But we can see with the life harvest, really, like, he just has almost no health. Oh my gosh. I have like, what, a 2-star polymorph on this guy, and I've landed it a whole bunch. Like, it's so lame. Oh well. Works out for me, though. So, wow, I didn't think we were going to win that one, but we did, which is really cool. So, definitely you can see the power of the team here. Let me move out of the way again. So, yeah, we can see all the damage. Narses, of course, going in as our main damage dealer. Being able to take out the Rhodos because he had that shield on him was super clutch. We can go against this team. We're not going to win this, though. Like, I don't think... It's nice having the HP in all battles aura as well. I don't know. We'll go with the Wukong. I just don't want to get cycled through so many times that, like, we literally don't get a chance to go. So they do lock us out, and they have the block buffs up. Or block debuffs, rather. Go in. Hopefully, we do get the decrease in the cooldowns, so potentially we have an opportunity to cycle back through our abilities. No, they just hit too hard, yeah. So, again, like, you can have these really good champions, but if you're going up against someone like this, you know, I always think of it like there's 3 kind of ways to beat someone. Oh, I'm missing some gear on him. Oops. Not that it would have mattered, but there's kind of like 3 different ways I think like arena battles can go. Like, you can either have the better champions, you can have the better gear, or you can just like be the better player. And it's some sort of combination between all of those that decides who's gonna win. I'm just looking for some gloves for UDK. I think these HP percentage ones would probably be the best. I could throw these ones on for now. I don't really have too many great ones. I actually stole his for, I think it was for the queen. Yeah, we'll just throw on the ones that are already rolled up somewhat. For now. All right. We can try against this team. I think it's going to be a similar situation. I think he's just going to be faster than me, and we're going to get locked out and then killed. So it's kind of, lockout is pretty much king when you're going up against teams like this. While the queen can help us out with it, it's not going to be a be-all, end-all. So yeah, again, just an opportunity to kind of showcase like the team, but I'm going up against people that are pretty high in gold 5 that have really solid teams. So we can try a team like this. I think we should wipe them out pretty easily. I'll just take out the UDK and throw in someone else. I think, I could do someone like Necrit, or let's try the Cardiel just to see how it goes. And then I'll try out another team without Cardiel, try someone that maybe you all have instead. Again, the UDK getting polymorphed, or sheeped rather, from the Wukong is really nice. Let's put the shield up. And for now, I think I just want to A1. Wait for the Marichka to either die or put up her shield. Okay, we do end up killing her. And then I'll do this. And I think now it's pretty much just the nuke and go again. Yep, so, I mean, you can see there, like, his damage is pretty crazy. And then the Cardiel ally attack is really nice. I'm not going to use the A2 on Wukong just because I want to finish this a little bit quicker. But, man, it is really, really nice having a champion that the decreased attack doesn't matter on. Like, every time I see it, I'm like, oh, man, what a pain. But then I'm like, oh, yeah, it doesn't matter. So, I'm not sure if the destroyed HP matters or not, like if his damage goes down with that. I would think so, but I've heard that Taurus's damage doesn't decrease, but he's a whole different beast. So I don't know. Maybe it's just a Taurus thing, or maybe it's just for max HP nukers. But we'll just take this one on. This one should be really, really easy, and finish them off. We actually don't get the kill there, which is kind of surprising. We'll kill Wukong again, so he can't do anything funny. And we're getting quite a few of the decreased cooldowns or increased cooldowns on the enemy, which is nice too. Okay, so let's go up against this team, and then I'll take out Cardiel. It's realistic to think that, if you went for him, that you have these 3 champions. So we could try with someone like Arbiter, or I can look for some other more accessible champions as well. We could even do someone like Oella. I don't think that would be a horrible idea. Just try that. I think that slot right now for this fight doesn't really matter anyway, but Oella giving us the turn meter increase as well. I just wanted to do that to try and strip some of the stone skin. Giving us the turn meter fill, the increased resistance, I guess, is kind of nice for our queen. Let's just go in and A1 her. No, it gets redirected. Okay, so now they all have the shield and strengthen on them. So we can go in and do our big nuke. And I think that's why she's so good, because we get that massive heal from her, as well as we can kind of increase the duration of our buffs. So pretty good nuke. I don't know what it is. It seems like every time I go up against the UDK, he's like always living, and it doesn't really make sense to me. Like, it's almost like UDK has some sort of like hidden ability where he just takes less damage. Okay, we can go up against this team as well. I think this one will be fine. I'm just going to go in with a Vogoth as well. Let me type in Vogoth, just so that I can get the extra sustain for my champions. I have Vogoth in a Blood Shield and with the Miracle Heal as well. I just wanted to kind of test that out, see how it goes. Oh, interestingly enough, I didn't really think about that, but he can actually get the lockout from the whatever it's called. I forget. The ability where you can't use your skills. So, good thing she has the cleanse, though. But yeah, I mean, pretty easy win there. We can try against this team as well. I don't know that necessarily will win it, but I can try something. Oops, got rid of him on accident. Go back. And we can try something like this. My Arbiter's pretty quick. We'll see if we're faster than him. He has the advantage on the blessings. So yeah, he's a little bit quicker than us. And so we'll probably end up losing this, I would imagine, unless something crazy happens. Would be really nice to get... Yeah, holy smokes, he just nuked us. Okay, so we did get the decreased cooldown from him, but didn't matter. So yeah, so sometimes just the lockouts are too much for us. All right, so let's try the duo out in live arena and see how they do. I'm really not the best live arena player, so we'll kind of see how it goes. And if one of them gets banned or the fight doesn't go well, I'll try and cut it out so that you guys don't have to see it. But we'll start off with her, just so that we can pick her and potentially make them think that we don't have him or something. But yeah, we'll see how it kind of goes. They're going with the speed team, which I think kind of ends up working out for us because in theory, Narses won't get locked out because he'll have the passive from her. So we'll go like this. And yeah, I can't wait to get him fully leveled up to... Oh yeah, they got a lockout, so we'll have to get rid of that. I can go with my Arbiter as well. I can even do, like, my Arbiter... I don't want to bring in Rhodos. I need to switch up one of their builds, because Rhodos has just a little bit more crit damage, and it kind of causes an issue where Rhodos will be the one that gets cleansed and stuff, which I guess it's not really... It's a suffering from success, as some would say. But, yeah, I would like Narses to be the one that doesn't get petrified or slept or all that stuff. So we'll ban the lockout. Hopefully they don't ban one of the duo. I think they're still going to hit pretty hard. I should have brought in a UDK. All right. So they'll definitely go before us. It's whether or not we can tank the hits and then get a nuke off, because Supreme Elhain, while she's a pretty good nuker, she's not really tanky at all, and I don't think they have any support for that either. Luckily, our Candy, he actually has pretty decent survivability. Oh, man, okay. So our Candy is actually... has more crit damage as well. But, boom. I mean, Narses literally just goes in, 210k damage, and finishes them all off. So, yeah, I mean, when you can get those two working together, it's really, really powerful. It's just, like, super fun. You know, I have Rhodos, I have Candy, I have some pretty good nukers on my account. I don't have the best gear, and I do have Baron as well, but Baron's built super slow. He's built just for, like, basically classic arena with the Arbiter Kymar kind of setup. We'll start off with both of them and see who they end up banning. But bringing in someone like this, it's so much fun because he's so tanky, he deals a bunch of damage, and then he kind of has, like, these other conditional things too that really help out your team. Okay, so good thing I didn't bring in Wukong, because they're bringing in the Foley, who can block the revive. Let me think about who I want to bring in. I can bring in Candy again, which would be really strong. My Brogni, unfortunately, I used to have him in Bolster, but I don't anymore. I really liked that build for him, though. We'll bring in Candy. I can bring in my Duchess as well. Let's try that. I've got a bunch of champions. Like I said, I don't really play Live Arena all that much. Okay, so they bring in the Rhodos again. Really interesting. I am assuming that he's going to ban Narses. So if I go off that assumption, I could bring in someone like Uko. I could bring in Elva. Let's bring in Cardiel. And then let's ban Rhodos. Okay, so they ban her, which is pretty interesting, actually. I could go in. They have like a 20% speed aura. I think I'm gonna do the HP in all battles because it's gonna make him even more tanky. So I'm not scared of fully nuking us anymore. I don't think he has the damage for it. And then pretty much everyone on our team is gonna be much more tanky. Yeah, I feel pretty confident about this, especially with them in bolster. Pretty interesting that they did that. Now, again, I don't remember all of my builds, so I'm not sure if Cardiel is going to be faster or not. I think him and Narses are like right around the same speed. Interesting. Yeah, the emergency heal on Duchess is actually really cool. Okay, so we are faster this way. Boom, we get the huge nuke out, which is really nice, and then we should be able to kill her just like this. So, I mean, it really is like with Narses on your team, if you get the opportunity to go, and especially if they have a shield set or something like that, you're just going to be able to nuke them. Honestly, like, Necrit is a liability on your team if Narses is on the other team. So I would highly recommend if you have Narses, go after teams that have Necrit because the nuker is pretty much always going to die because Necrit's like basically like, hey, why don't you attack my nuker twice instead of once? So we'll do one more battle, see how it goes. Hopefully I don't have to cut it out because the fight sucks, but yeah, it should be pretty good. I'm definitely happy with the duo, and I think he was well worth the shards. So yeah, we end up with our latest, what, 10-ish battles. We lost one, win two, lost another, win two, lost one, and then lost another. So we actually only lost one where we actually had White King Narses. So pretty interesting. We also lost, it was to a guy that had a lot of blessings on his champions. So, okay, let's do a 3v3 battle and see how they do. I don't want to go up against a lockout team for obvious reasons. I'll just kind of throw my speed up and see if we're faster than them. If not, it's not a real big deal. For this team, we could probably go up against this Ursaga team. I think that would be pretty interesting. And I think this bottom team would be a pretty easy win. So let's try the a little bit more difficult team and see how that one goes. All right, so we are in the battle. We were slower on that first team, unfortunately. We'll just go in, and I like getting the increased crit damage from Cardiel, which is nice. This one's built in Merciless as well. And I think right now I want to save his A2 ability, just so that way they can potentially get the shields up and some other stuff, and then we should be able to nuke them. Interesting that Ursaga didn't use her Ally Protect move right away. Wow, we actually got Cardiel's ability back immediately, which is really cool. We get the kill there, and I guess we'll just go for the big hit on that. We don't get him, unfortunately. And again, the destroying the max HP is really nice. Okay, so now that they no longer have the stone skin on their nuker, let's go in. Boom. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, that was just one hit from him, and it immediately kills them. So, really cool. This team's actually pretty interesting, too. I'll show you guys this. So, I use a Valkynon with the Wukong, and it works really well. I don't know. This is pretty interesting. The other team has a Wukong in Stone Skin, but pretty much the goal is Wukong uses his abilities, and then we have our Valkynon go in, kill our Wukong, kind of lock out the enemy team, and then Wukong will either get revived by our team or from his passive, and then we kind of do it all over again. Didn't work out super well there because the Duchess had the Stone Skin resist or whatever it's called, so that didn't work out super well for us, but a pretty reliable team here. Just obviously some issues with the UDK and all that stuff, but it should be a pretty easy win as long as the Wukong doesn't nuke us down too hard. But we'll go in, do it all over again, and I guess I'll just kill her so that way. Oh yeah, I forgot UDK was up. But yeah, pretty much the kind of theme of the team right there. Basically just slowly block revive on all of them and get the win. I probably didn't need to do that. Oh well. Boom, he's dead, and then we can set it to full auto. So pretty cool team. You have to manual it for the most part because Valkonen likes to kill the revivers, which is pretty unfortunate. But yeah, pretty cool, pretty easy. Now, let's try up against a team like this, where they have a Wukong, they have another champion that's able to remove our buffs, and then they have a pretty big nuker and Hefrak, as well as a potential increase attack from their Duchess. So let's see how that team kind of goes. I didn't even check what the other teams were that we were going up against, but that one's a pretty easy win. And yeah, I'll probably just pause it and be right back. All right, we made it through. The Valkonen team ended up getting the W, which is nice. I'm going to place the Revive on Death just in case they nuke us. Kind of messed it up. I wasn't really paying attention, and I think I used her cleanse, so that's not great, but oh well. They nuke us, get the kill on 2 of us, but we pop back up. Oh, I didn't. Okay, sweet. So now we should be chilling, and boom. So really just like, I can't stress this enough. This team is exceptionally fun and exceptionally good because you can go in, as long as you're tanky enough to survive until Stone Skin falls off, you're more than likely going to win the battle. I go in, again, just with 2 different support champions to help out the team, but you can try a bunch of different other champions. I would say champions like Cardiel are good because he's giving you that ally attack, which is going to decrease your cooldowns for your White King, because his ally attack again makes the Queen A1, which has a 50% chance of Narses getting his cooldown reduced. It also heals someone like Duchess for that passive to make your team a little more tanky. Even Vogoth or someone like that will help out the team a lot. Alright guys, that is the showcase for White King Narses and his partner in crime, the White Queen Ankora. These 2 champions are very exceptional. You could see even without all of her masteries, the 2 of them were extremely good together, and with pretty much any other champions, they're going to be a menace in Classic, 3v3, and Live Arena. One thing to note that is pretty interesting, I think Fatalis is actually going to be a counter for him because he's always going to be ignoring the enemy's shield and strengthen buffs. And Fatalis, whenever he has a shield, he can't be crit. So essentially, Fatalis is going to have a shield. White King Narses is going to hit, but he's not going to hit the shield, and he's never going to crit. So just watch out for that. If someone counterpicks your Narses with a Fatalis, it might be because they know about that. So just make sure you either have someone that can strip the buff of shield or someone else that's able to go in and remove that shield somehow from the Fatalis. But just a little tidbit I wanted to bring up to you. Another thing that I talked about a couple times, but just want to make sure to reiterate, an ally attack champion like Cardiel, if you have him, or if you have Mikage, would be exceptional on a team with them as well, because the A1 from the White Queen is going to proc, and you have a higher chance of decreasing your Narcissus cooldowns. And because he's on a 3-turn cooldown with this heavy hitter ability, he's going to go in and basically use it once and then get his turnaround and then go again. One other thing that I wanted to bring up that I think is really useful for people to know, I think he's going to be a really good counter for any Wukongs on the enemy team. I kind of like to bait out the A2 from the White Queen, where essentially she's going to put out the shield and strengthen. An enemy team might use their Wukong against you, and they'll go in with the A3 ability, stealing all of the buffs that we have. And as long as Wukong's team gives him 1 additional buff, or he already has one, or you have other champions on your team like Cardiel who come in with block debuffs or increased crit rate and crit damage, White King Narses essentially can go and use his A3 ability on that Wukong, kill him, and then immediately go into his nuke ability. So I think he's actually a really good counter as long as the speeds line up and you kind of time your abilities so that you know that they're going to get stolen so that you can counter the Wukong. So just a little thought that I thought you guys might find interesting. Again, my champions are pretty much fully built out. They don't have all of the books, but they have enough of the damage to be able to say confidently that they're going to be extremely good for arena. Anywhere you go in arena, they're going to be great. As far as dungeons, I don't have any of my Hydra keys available, but I think it would be pretty interesting to try the King and Queen on Hydra, just because I don't know how his damage would translate. I think it could be decent, but I don't think it would be exceptional. But I do think that she would actually come in and be a very exceptional champion for Hydra because she's going in, she's decreasing one of your cooldowns. She has a revive where your ally gets all of their abilities back and it revives them with a lot of HP and turn meter. And then this passive, I think, can be really good if you have one exceptional nuker like someone like Turvold. So overall, how do I feel about the two? I think they are an exceptional combo, and I am so glad that I decided to go for Ankora, go for her soul, or for her blessing rather, and go for him during the Guaranteed Champion event. I try and say this every time, but please, please, please save your shards for the next guaranteed Void Lego. You're gonna want to pull on a guaranteed because your rates for Legos is gonna be higher, and you're gonna know what kind of champion you're gonna get out of it. Whenever you pull for something like a 2x or a 10x for a champion, you're not guaranteed to get a specific champion, and then you don't know what kind of areas your account is gonna progress. For myself, as soon as I saw him as a guaranteed, I said my 3v3 teams are going to be better, my live arena is going to be better, and classic will be a little more fun. I knew what I was getting out of this beforehand, and it was something that's more beneficial for my account than if I just pulled on a 2x and got someone like Marichka. I know it sounds crazy. Marichka is an amazing champion, and I would love her on my account, but I don't necessarily need her, where someone like a nuker for arena is exactly what I've been looking for. We'll go in. We'll just kill him just because we can. We'll A1 the Duchess. Now, the Wukong has a whole bunch of buffs, which is pretty nice. We just barely leave him alive, which is good too. It is kind of interesting because you can use Narses as a little bit of a bait for a Wukong. Like, I literally just buff up my whole team, and then Wukong steals them, and then I just block his revive. So, really easy. And then I can go in with the nuke, get the kill on her, and then the life harvest as well, so that way her health is 3/4 of what it used to be. And, I mean, I can just set this to auto, and we should be fine. Just like a super, super fun combo. I can't wait to get more books for Ankora. I think the A1 being able to reduce the cooldowns for Narses is going to be a pretty significant deal. And I think it's going to help him kind of amp up his DPS just because he's going to have a lot more opportunities to use the A2. So we go in with another nuke, kill off Elva, and any second we should be good. See, we got the cooldown there, which is nice, and boom. So sweet, yeah, definitely. Obviously, like a pretty stall heavy team that we were going up against, but he's in a clan that has 4 stars, so I'm assuming that he has pretty good gear or is a pretty end game account. And we can see Narses just kind of blew them out of the water. Really, of course, there was no threat because they didn't have any sort of threat champions, but really, really solid showing. All right, guys, there you have it. That is the showcase that I have for the duo. I can go on and on with them. We can watch a million live arena or classic arena battles with them, but at the end of the day, they are an exceptional combo. They're even exceptional up to the end game, which isn't always the case with nukers, but you're really fortunate if you saved up your void shards and got him, and you went for the fragment champion in White Queen. So if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'm going to do a couple more battles so that you guys can watch them in action again. But it's been a pleasure, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace. Alright guys, you probably saw, but I got polymorphed through the block revive ability. I know Saf and Shinny had both talked about it, but there you go. In case you haven't seen their videos on it, you can get polymorphed through the block revive ability, which is pretty unlucky, pretty annoying. But interestingly enough, actually, I didn't realize this, but anytime your champion that has the higher crit damage is polymorphed or maybe even dead, the passive from the queen goes on to the next champion. So that's why my Cardiel was able to go in and get his the stun or whatever sleep didn't land on him and it landed on the other champion, which is pretty interesting actually. So yeah, I'll hide myself again and get back to it. Another polymorph, nice.